Do recon planes do anything versus subs? Yeah, they spot them. They add to the naval intel. So that basically affects you in two different ways. Ooh, Kaiser Wilhelm died. First of all, if you hover over the African coast here, you can see intel efficiency 52%. You want to get that up. Recon planes help massively. Recon planes followed by tactical bombers, followed maritime bombers, followed by heavy fighters. I think that's the order for intel, but really the recon planes are the ones that do the most. The more intel efficiency you have, the faster you're going to spot ships in this area. Of course, having recon ships also contributes to that. And in fact, to spot at all, you need to have a recon of some, or a surface presence of some kind present. Otherwise, you'll never spot them. Air alone doesn't do it. Then you also can get intelligence, which... that's not what I meant to look at. I was trying to look at, for example, Union of Britain going over to France. We're on their perspective, Intel Ledger, and we can see how much they can see. The more information you have about the Navy, the more you can tell about where their deployments are. So right now, Union of Britain can see that the convoys which France is sending are going along these routes. And that means you can start putting submarines on those routes and start sinking them. So if you're doing a lot naval, you want to make sure that your naval intel is high, and then you can see exactly where those are. And if your intel is high enough, you can see exactly where enemy fleets are, and you can avoid their escorts. And bomb ports if their ships are repairing in the ports, you can see exactly where they are. It's really helpful. Which is what we did in the creator versus dev game. We used our naval intel brought to us by Torior to find that the German fleet was repairing, I think it was in Hamburg, and then feedback just sent all of his bombers to just bomb Hamburg. And inflicted a massive amount of damage and basically knocked the Navy out. It meant I didn't even have to fight them. Although apparently there were a couple of early engagements between my fully upgraded destroyers versus their submarines. I had 90 of them, which were an unmitigated disaster for the Germans, and then they never left port again. It was very like World War II, in fact, except for the submarines instead of the surface fleet. Okay, so we have Austria currently fighting against the SRI. SRI actually doing some escorts, which is good. So clearly, the Union of Britain is directing his teammates to say, you should probably be doing some escorts, because it's going to cost you if you don't. And these Austrian submarines, all 11 of them, they're not going to do any damage. Too bad that these guys are damaged and haven't been repaired. That's probably something that could be looked at. But yeah, good. I'm really pleased to see the escorts going on. So we have a large Indian force here trying to push back the invasion through Mersa Matruh. But right now it looks like they're going to hold that successfully. And now this has become a big fight between the SRI surface fleet and the submarines. Unfortunately, again, not enough screen coverage, and these capitals are going to start getting hit by the submarines, especially if Austria has actually upgraded their subs at all. And we can see that the cruisers have taken quite a bit of damage. And here's one thing which you should know, is even while retreating, ships are still shooting. So even if submarines looks like they're backing off, they're still firing torpedoes off as they go. That was one of the really big changes that came with Man the Guns and made submarines actually viable. Before that, subs were kind of garbage. Meanwhile, we have a big foray into SRI. They have pushed out of Milan across the river here and are starting to threaten the Alpine borders against France, although it looks like they're holding in most of these positions pretty nicely. They got a pin here, which was good, because that's an opening right there. Are we going to do another death clash with switched sides? We would really like to, but nothing in the works as yet. But yeah, that's come up several times, and I think we've all pretty much gone, yeah, that sounds awesome. So if I played as minor player, building recon planes would be a great way to support any my major. Yeah, 100% it would be. The more recon you have over the territories and the seas of your opponent, the more intel you're gathering as well. It's not just the naval intel you're gaining, it's the regular intel. Actually, I'm curious about that. Are any of the Air Force commanders using recon? Doesn't look like Britain is. Sweden? Sweden has a lot of planes in training. I'm just looking at the missions. There should be one with binoculars. which would show that they're actually using recon. Japan. I'm actually very surprised that we're not seeing much recon, because in the multiplayers that I've played in, recon's been really important. Oh, unless it's not in Kaiserreich. Well, let's go to a minor power, say GEA. I don't want to look at research too frequently. No. Scout planes do exist, they're just hidden off the side of the tech tree. Then Canada, I think, was the Entente. Air controller. Those strap bombers? No, they're fighters. No, I'm not seeing any recon whatsoever. Usually if I'm playing, I put one factory on recon and just leave one factory on. That's often enough. Oh yeah, I wanted to take a look at the Austrian Submarines, see if they're any decent. Because he's building quite a few. They are tier 2s. These are the old ones, I think, because mine laying's not allowed in the game. But tier 2 engines, tier 2 mine tubes, torpedo tubes, that's good. These are all same class. I'm assuming that these are all the same class. Are you seriously building this version? That's such a waste. Mine laying is not allowed. Why would you put a mine laying module? Like, I'm guessing that this is a version which has just been given to him and he's just gone, oh, tier 2 submarine, build it. This is why you check your designs, because that's expensive. That's adding an extra 120... 90 extra production cost. So these would cost 450... no. 470 without that. It's like a fifth off. Reichspakt seems to have a massive air superiority at the moment. Yeah, Sweden's been doing a very good job with air superiority. We can actually take a look. So if we see this, this looks like full Reichspakt green air. Well done to Sweden. And they're now starting, instead of these massive air battles in just one zone, like we had in southern Germany, they've now started to spread out. And that's a an indicator of a solid air power. So Reichspakt air seems to be really good. Then we've got Union of Britain, who was their air controller. And it's all red air, kind of unsurprisingly. However, can we see where their planes are actually deployed, or are they all... They're all just grounded. Probably because of fuel supply issues, and probably also because he's just trying to build up numbers, so that he's not just sending, like, 1 against 4 times his enemies, trying to, like, equalize the numbers. Probably a fair amount of air construction being built. Okay, starting to take off over the Netherlands, so this is going to be another area that they're trying to get, and there we go, 1,600 fighters suddenly in the skies over the Low Country. And we'll probably see a Reichspakt reaction in a couple of hours as he redirects planes to counter this. I'm not allowed to look into production. That's something which is banned throughout. Which is why I've also not been clicking on logistics. So, production tab and logistics, not allowed. I can look at templates now. I probably would do that sparingly, but I can look at templates. And research. Research is more of a self-imposed ban, though. Can we tell if mines are being laid in breach of the rules? Yeah, probably. Ah, here we go. So the Entente, the Reichspakt air forces have reacted 4,000 against 4,900, so the Reichspakt does definitely have air superiority here. They are losing more planes though. So at the moment the International aircraft are stronger. Oh no, not anymore. 50 to 45, 60 to 60, 45 to 45. Okay, they're about equal. I'm guessing that both sides are using tier 4s already. Sorry, tier 3 planes. And we can also see the coverage, so they've got 100% detection, they've got 99 mission efficiency to 97. That's very high. So both air controllers making sure that their planes are adequately based. It's a pretty close fight, although right now they just have fewer planes. And so are suffering more casualties. On a 1-to-1 I think it would be equal, but it's not 1-to-1. And it looks like there are some battles going on here again, with France determinedly attacking into Belgium once more. Meanwhile, in Egypt, it looks like they're managing to maintain control of this so far. They've not taken over Suez, so let me just double check exactly who has what rights through Suez. So the Third Internationale, contested, no access. Reichspakt. Contested, no access. So they have cut off Reichspakt access through here. And then obviously Entente and CoPro will have no access either. As long as they're at war with one of those two countries, they will be blocking access to everybody else. Meanwhile, big Chinese invasion into northern India. Oh no, it's the Indians counterattacking. In fact, you know what? What's happened to the Americans? Because it was kind of the American forces that stymied the invasion, and now the Americans are seemingly holding the line. American heavy tanks, they finally appeared. Took them a while to arrive, but we do have American heavy tanks on the field now. Currently being counterattacked by significant numbers of Russian forces. Let's take a look at this from the Indian perspective. We've got infantry trying to consolidate what the tanks are taking. It doesn't look like they have a huge number of them. Also, I am seeing Russian tanks over here ready to push across into the Bengal area. What river is this? Is that the Ganges? It's the Ganges, isn't it? Can I look at intel from the Internationale's point of view, see if they've invested in spies or anything? They had. 2. Oh, no, they haven't. Well, he might not necessarily be the espionage controller. If they even have an espionage controller. SRI. SRI hasn't even got an agency. Who's the other one? Ireland. So, no. Limited use of spies. Germany. Heavy use of spies. Stealing blueprints, so they're trying to get technology bonuses. And also infiltrating administrations, which is good. So if you infiltrate the administration, then you get, I think it's a plus 25% intel bonus. It's pretty hefty. Which is why one of the first actions I always take, doing what I do, infiltrating the navy, because then I can see where their ships are. So Germany investing pretty heavily. Austria investing pretty heavily. Ukraine's got a couple. Bulgaria's got a couple. Although, none of them are actually doing anything. Both the Ukraine and Bulgaria are just not being used. That's a bit wasteful. Then we've got the Entente. India's also got a bunch not being used. Australasia, not being used. USA, not being used. Canada's got a few. And I feel like I'm missing somebody. France, not being used. Like, there's no reason not to be using them. Have them at least, like, spreading intel. Just have them doing this. Because that gives you intel about the enemy, and then you can get more information about them. Like, not using them at all is massive waste. Japan, doing it. China, doesn't have any. Siam, doesn't have any. Philippines, doesn't have any. So CoPro just hasn't invested in them. Then we've got... Oh no, that was everyone. So Reichspakt, making by far the best use of spies. I don't think India's built any forts, no. I have noticed that players very rarely actually build forts. And considering how frequent the use of heavy tanks is, I'm not overly surprised, because heavy tanks are good against forts. That's their thing. Can't play Kaiserreich, is this a bug? I don't know, Luca. I would speak to the Kaiserreich devs. Ask them. But there was an update yesterday which might have broken things. Oh, do we have a counter invasion? Who's this? That's Canada, isn't it? Why can't I see what's happening? Oh, here we go. No, it's Reichspakt. It's the Ukraine. Ukraine has finally arrived! They're doing stuff! Probably got bored of waiting for Russia to attack them because Russia's been so busy with India. I guess they don't want to open up another front against the Reichspakt. So we've got the Austrians pushing against Suez here. We've got these guys who are now cut off in Port Said. And now we have the Ukrainians pushing south and taking all of this. So what do they need to do? These guys basically need to take Alexandria, and then everything here in Egypt is cut off. They can't escape. Said is already surrounded. Yeah, it's just Alexandria. So, well played by the Ukrainians. Lovely little naval invasion there. And are they actually covering their actions? They aren't. They aren't. Friendly superiority, only 1,400. They do have ships in the area, but not actually given any orders. They're just sitting there watching, I think. And probably trying to block the port of Alexandria. This is where I'd like to see, for example, the Austrian Navy. Yep, Austria's here. All of their submarines waiting to fight reinforcements, basically. And then I guess that Germany might be doing something. You know, I've actually been impressed with Austria's naval play. For a nation that has no reason, usually, to focus navy, Austria's done a great job with theirs. And it's made a difference. Like, we've seen several different naval actions where the Austrian fleets come into play. And look at this, they are blockading successfully against the Italian reinforcements coming in. So, submarine blockades like this, very effective. And it looks like the Italians have now woken up. They're starting to counterattack. We've got American tanks having blitzed their way down the river, going along the Nile, just chewing everything apart. Let's see this from the Co-Prosperity's perspective. I'm sorry, not Co-Pro. I keep calling them Co-Pro. It's not. It's the Commune, which is also known as the Third Internationale. Alexandria. More troops arriving. You need to pin Alexandria. Don't let this organization recover. These guys have been completely cut off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 divisions cut off here. 11, 12. This is a... Oh, and we've got Ukrainian powers blocking. Oh no, those were powers. This was an airborne invasion. Because looking at that from Ukraine's perspective, we can see the crest that they've assigned to it. But if we're looking at this from the Entente's perspective, we can see that they're actually paratroopers. Interesting. That's cool. We've seen naval invasions, and then we've seen a counter paradrop to take them down. So it looks like we're having a hot join here. Necron Slave crashed, I assume. Okay, so what were we looking at? We were looking at the airborne invasion of Alexandria. So the Airborne is still here doing their thing. Okay, I'm really curious. What's their template look like? Because I've never really done Airborne before. So they've got AA, in case they're outside of air cover. And then Engineers, probably to help them move and also to entrench. And then they've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 combat width. No, 20 combat width. 20 combat width powers? They have a lot of them. Completely untrained, though. That's one thing I probably would have spent a bit of time doing. They basically just gave them guns and pushed them out the plane. 24 players, we have 3 admins. Yeah, 20 players, 3 admins, 1 commentator. Like I said, these games are really well organised. Okay, so these Austrian submarines are catching a lot of ships at the moment, so let's go and take a look at this from Austria's perspective. Oh, wow. Yeah, they are. So it looks like Socialist Republic of Italy is really trying to bring in some reinforcements. We do have the Socialist Republican fleet here, but look how battered they are. So now it looks like this 8% screen is starting to count against them. Screen your ships properly, guys. I kind of want that on one side so I can watch what's going on down here. Because this is an absolute massacre going on at sea. The Austrian Navy is just going absolutely ham at the moment. It's great. So this battleship is being forced to retreat because look how weak it is. Received 1 crit hit, torpedo, 142 damage in 1 shot. That's a lot of damage. It's just too bad that the Austrians are using mines instead of torpedoes. Imagine if they had 2 sets of torpedoes. They would be incredibly good. Oh, he got away. But, like, battleships taking this much damage, that is going to take a very long time to repair. A very, very, very long time to repair. It's going to use up an awful lot of SRI's naval capacity. Oh, there goes the Pride of the Fleet. Okay, they're retreating. A couple of extra escorts arrived, but they are now trying to escape. But the damage, man, the damage. It's been done. And they're still hitting them. 9%, 1%. Boom! Pride of the Fleet and another battleship. Screen! You've got to screen your navies. Well played, Austria. Well played. 100% screen. Battleship escaped. So they came in with 3 battleships and lost... No, 4 battleships and lost 2. Including the Pride of the Fleet, which is going to affect SRI's... Oh, what's it called? War support. Lose that. Lose stability in war support, I believe. I'll swap them from a 10 with template. From nothing they would lose all experience making them green. That's true. We don't just have a commentator, we have a cracking good commentator. Thank you, Katie. Alright, so the airborne units have actually managed to surround over here. They have taken Alexandria in the meantime, so all of these guys are dead because they're completely surrounded. We have a couple of Indians pushing in from the other direction. A royal wedding. Despite the initial crisis caused by the choice of bride, at the point where he almost forced to abdicate, it appears the man's lovers won the day. He married Constance. Very nice. And it does look like the Italians and the French are trying to push back again, but not having very much success in doing so. And I've got to say that this has been a fantastic collaboration between Austria and the Ukraine. The Ukraine leading the way, dropping the powers, calling in Austria from the side to help support, and then Austria's navy. It was the lack of reinforcements that allowed Alexandria to fall, and then just to, you know, rub a little bit of salt into the wound, they also killed the Pride of the Fleet. Weren't mind banned because of lag issues. Yeah, which is why I think it's a mistake that he created the mine layer ships, because I haven't seen any mines. They're usually pretty obvious. There's no mines. And these are tier 2 submarines, so either he's just started building them, not realizing that there's a mine laying tube there, or he misclicked and added mines instead of torpedoes. Because if these submarines had double torpedoes, they would be even stronger. And the other really unfortunate downside of this is they're paying that 90 extra production cost, which is like a fifth of the overall cost of one of these submarines, for something which is useless. They can't use them. Can we get a casualty check? Yes, we can. Good choice. So the Reichspakt currently have lost 2.09 million, whereas the Third International has lost 2.6 million. Commune de France having lost the most. UOB, no casualties. Impressive. At least against the Reichspakt. Then we'll take a look at the Entente perspective. Yemen's capitulated. Thousand things going on. I might not be keeping tabs on how many screens are still afloat helping his capitals. I don't think they will have lost that many screens though. I think that they are using the capitals for the shore bombardment bonus and not sending out the screens with them to save fuel. And they're being caught at sea by the submarines because of it. At least that's what it looks like for Italy. And there was somebody else who had the same system. Spain, I think, might have done the same. Off the coast of Africa. It's the new mine meta. There is literally no reason to be doing that. It's got to be a mistake. What are screens and exactly what do they do? Kahelk, I would strongly recommend you type in !naval and it will explain it in much better detail than I can manage right now. Alright, US. What were we checking? Casualties. So, whoa. The Entente so far has lost 2.4 million. Third International 2.7 million. Co-Prosperity 2.1 million. US has actually lost remarkably few. French Republic's lost almost 700,000, and they cannot afford that. India losing 1.1 million, they kind of can. Germany's lost 1 million. Probably mostly against France. Yep. Russia's lost 800,000. Japan's lost 400,000. Siam's lost 400,000. Yeah, the French Republic has been really picked on. I mean, they're doing okay at the moment. But they're on service by requirement, 1941. Which is going to be impacting their production. I mean, thankfully they have the USA who can send them more stuff. We'll take a look at Tunisia in a minute. I just want to see the casualties from other perspectives. Fentian, who is still out of fuel. So the Co-Prosperity has lost 2.1 million in this war. And I'm having to look at this from the different perspectives because it's different basically for everyone, because of so many different separate wars going on. Russia did 250,000 against France. Japan did 230. Philippines 200,000. Oh, is that down here? Oh, they've retaken it. So France was cleared out of the Dutch East Indies, and I suspect that's probably where they lost the majority of those troops, because it was the French invasion which had secured all of this. And it looks like they did manage to pull off a naval invasion while we were looking at France. Looking at North Africa, and we missed that. Sorry about that, everyone. Meanwhile, Tunisia, that's what we were going to look at. So we have got a Spanish incursion in Tunisia. They've definitely, like, spotted France as potentially the weakest right now. And honestly, they are. Not the weakest player. I think the French player has actually played a very, very good game. But they just don't have the economy and, more importantly, the manpower to continue this level of losses. Oh no, you can't move out. You have nobody to support you. You've got troops defending Bizerta, which is your main cause for supply. Marines coming in, infantry coming in. Like, Spain just keeps on trying, which is fantastic for them. And we have some naval engagements going on. This is Venice. Venetian submarines going up against Union of Britain protected C&T FAI ships, convoys. And Venice does have a lot of naval buffs, actually. Meanwhile, over here, we do have a tiny little invasion. Oh, no, they've pushed out. They've pushed across the Po River. That's a cut-off. So Ravenna has fallen. Bologna, Modena, Parma have all fallen. They've continued to hold on to those bits. And this, of course, means that the magnificent, the mighty, the marvellous Two Sicilies are going to be gaining some stuff back again. Which is awesome. So how did they do this? Take another look at Insular India. Philippine divisions are moving out. Siamese divisions are moving out. I think this was probably just a really nicely coordinated naval invasion, which I'm very sorry we missed. They do still have ships in the area. We were watching like the initial attacks, I think, and the Australasian submarines were just chewing the attacks apart. So I looked away. And Australasia has lost a lot of their boats. I mean, they've got tier 3 submarines, which is a good thing, but they've only got 9 of them. Plus these 4 that they've not sent out. Liberia declared war on French Republic. Very good admiral for this. Although he doesn't have Seawolf yet. Somehow.